Do you struggle with saying no? Are you constantly trying to please others so that you can avoid upsetting them? Does your mood depend on how others respond to you? Are you exhausted from always prioritizing everyone else's needs, but never really your own? If so, you may be dealing with codependency issues. But don't worry, you're not alone. I've personally struggled with codependency for a significant part of my life. And while I'm far from perfect, I have discovered some strategies that help me heal and move forward. Codependency is a complex pattern of behaviors that can profoundly affect your relationships and overall well being. It traps us into a cycle of seeking approval and validation from others, and it leaves us feeling trapped and connected from our own true selves. Codependent patterns can manifest in various ways, and individuals may exhibit different combinations of these patterns. Here are 7 of the most common codependency patterns. Number 1, enabling. Codependent individuals unintentionally enable the destructive behaviors of others. They protect them from the consequences or take away their responsibility, and inadvertently contributes to their addictive cycle or their irresponsible behavior. This pattern can arise from a deep desire to maintain harmony and avoid conflict. And this ultimately just perpetuates the addiction cycle. In simpler terms, codependency is being addicted to someone else's potential and making the other person the emotional center of our universe. Number 2 is caretaking. Codependents often assume a caretaking role. They excessively focus on meeting the needs of others while neglecting their own needs. They derive their sense of self-worth from being needed and become emotionally invested in rescuing other people and fixing them, even when it costs their own well-being. Codependents often believe that the person that they're addicted to, if they can change in some way, then they'll have this fantastic relationship and they'll be able to fulfill everyone's needs. Number 3 is people-pleasing. Codependent people have an overwhelming need for approval and validation from others. They go to great lengths to please others. Oftentimes, they'll sacrifice their own desires and suppress their own emotions. And the pattern stems from a fear of rejection or abandonment that probably started and was ingrained in them in family systems that were affected by addiction, alcoholism, and rigidity. Early in life, the codependent learns to take responsibility for other people's behaviors and their feelings. They believe that if they can just make everyone else happy, that it will ultimately bring peace and harmony to the family. Hey guys, I want to interrupt real quick and remind you to like and subscribe to this video and my channel, because this helps the algorithm, it helps other people find the channel, and it just makes things better for everybody. So it only takes a second, click it, boom, boom. Okay, back to the video. And number 4 is lack of boundaries. Codependents struggle with setting boundaries. I know this has been true for me. We find it difficult to say no, and often we feel responsible when other people are upset and their emotions. So that pattern leads to a loss of personal identity and an inability for us to prioritize our own needs. Codependents fear rejection, and they worry that if they set a boundary with someone, that's going to result in being abandoned. Our fear of abandonment can be so intense that we will tolerate mistreatment and allow other people to cross our boundaries. Number 5 is difficulty with intimacy. Codependents can oftentimes have a fear of intimacy, exposing themselves and letting people see the true them. And this, again, was something that probably happened in early childhood, where they felt unsafe because when they did share themselves with someone, they were rejected or hurt in some way. So the codependents oftentimes struggled with allowing themselves to be seen, to be fully heard and understood, because of the fear of rejection. Number 6 is low self-esteem. Codependent individuals often have low self-esteem, and we tend to diminish our own self-worth. We seek external validation and rely on other people's opinions to define our own values. And this pattern perpetuates the codependent behavior because we're constantly seeking approval from others. This pattern can happen when we grow up in authoritarian and religious family systems, because we're often taught that we're wrong and unacceptable just the way that we are. It can cause low self-esteem. Number 7, denial and avoidance. Codependents may deny their own needs and emotions, and they focus on the needs and emotions of others. They avoid facing their own problems and taking responsibility for their problems and their happiness, and instead they fixate on the issues of the people around them. Codependents may even sacrifice their basic needs and spend money on things that they don't have on the other person because, again, they're addicted to the person. They often see having needs for themselves as being selfish and unloving, rather than just being nurturing and nourishing for themselves. It's important to note that these patterns they can vary in intensity, and they might not be present in every codependent individual. However, when we recognize these patterns, it's a really crucial way to understand our codependent issues so that we can pave a way for a more fulfilling life and better relationships. So if you recognize these patterns in yourself, don't worry, there's hope. You're not alone. There's a path to liberation. Inspired by Melody Beattie's groundbreaking book, Codependent No More, I want to provide you with 5 crucial steps to breaking free from codependency. Number 1, recognize and understand codependency. The first step to overcoming codependency is recognizing its presence in your life. You got to take the time to reflect on your relationships and the patterns of behaviors that you've had. So if you constantly seek approval from others, if you have a difficult time saying no, if you find yourself making someone else the emotional center of your universe, if you can recognize these symptoms and patterns, it'll help you gain clarity and take ownership towards your journey towards healing. As Melody wrote in the book, the first step towards change is awareness. The second step is acceptance. Just as an addict or an alcoholic must admit their problem, the codependent must admit their addiction and see how it's making their lives unmanageable. Number 2, cultivate self-awareness. Self-awareness is essential for overcoming codependency. It's important that we take time to just really explore our own needs and our desires and our values, what's important to us. When we engage in self-reflection and introspection, we understand our motivations and our thoughts and our patterns, and we can develop a deeper understanding of ourselves, which helps us prioritize our well-being and helps us gain a stronger sense of self. As Melody said wisely, you are responsible for how you feel, no matter what else someone else does. Some great ways to engage in self-reflection are journaling or working with a therapist or coach. Number 3 is establishing healthy boundaries. Setting and maintaining healthy boundaries are crucial when overcoming codependency. We got to begin by identifying where our boundaries have been crossed in the past and reflect on the emotional consequences that resulted. And then we can establish clear and assertive boundaries with others. Healthy boundaries are essential in helping us teach other people how to treat us. When we don't set boundaries, we're saying to the other person that their behavior is okay and acceptable. And oftentimes we do this because we are afraid that they're going to leave us. But understand this, your boundaries are only as good as your ability and your willingness to remove yourself from the situation. In other words, you need to have both the ability and the willingness to remove yourself from the situation. Now, you may not always have to remove yourself from the situation. You may be able to just say something as simple as, if this behavior continues, then I'm going to need to leave. But you also have to have the willingness to follow through with setting your boundaries. Remember, boundaries are not selfish. They're essential for maintaining healthy relationships and preserving your mental health and your emotional well-being. As Beattie reminds us, when we set boundaries, we begin to take our lives back. If you struggle with setting boundaries, I suggest reading the book Boundaries by Cloud and Townsend. You might also benefit from an assertiveness training course, as well as counseling and possible groups such as Codependents Anonymous. Number 4, focus on self-care. Practicing self-care is vital in breaking free from codependency. Engage in activities that bring you joy, relaxation, and fulfillment. Prioritize your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. This might involve pursuing hobbies, exercising, spending time with supportive friends, or even seeking professional help through therapy. When you nurture yourself, it allows you to build a stronger foundation for relationships that's based on an interdependence rather than a codependence. As Melody writes in Codependent No More, put yourself at the top of your daily to-do list. Number 5, seek professional support and help. Overcoming codependency can be really challenging. Trust me, I know. Seeking support from others can be crucial. It helps you in your journey of healing. This way you can reach out to trusted friends and family members or support groups that can really provide you with empathy, encouragement, and a way to look at things maybe a little bit differently than you normally do. It's also important to seek out professional counseling or therapists who specialize in codependency. This can help you sort of ferret out the underlying issues and some of your childhood patterns that show up in your life now as an adult. Melody says in Codependent No More that we all need a support system. If you find yourself struggling with codependency issues, I highly recommend getting a copy of the book Codependent No More by Melody Beattie, and let it serve you as a valuable resource for understanding and overcoming your codependency issues. When you delve into the origins of your codependency, you can really gain insight into your own childhood experiences and what's influenced your adult relationships and behaviors. I'll put a link to Melody's book in the comment section, so check it out. Again, if you see yourself in this video or in these patterns, I highly suggest that you seek out some professional support, group support, because when we overcome codependency, it absolutely changes our lives. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.